We have to stop treating our opponents as our enemies. They are not our enemies. They are Americans. They're Americans.
Joe Biden, the great moderate, the great compromiser, will be sworn in as president in just over 2 months. And when it's all said and done, he's likely to win the Electoral College with the same number of votes as the man whose job he's taking.
We had a massive landslide victory, as you know, in the Electoral College. I guess the final numbers are now at 306.
So America wants a moderate behind the resolute desk. Down ballot, not so much. Democrats lost seats in the House. Most of those seats were held by moderates. Progressives largely stuck around. And that kind of mixed result is causing some drama in the Democratic caucus.
Sloganeering kills people. Sloganeering destroys movements. Stop sloganeering.
We need to not ever use the word socialist or socialism ever again. Because while people think it doesn't matter, it does matter. And we lost good members because of that.
I believe that many Republicans were very effective at digital organizing and strategy as well, whereas the Democratic Party is still campaigning largely as though it's 2005. And I know a lot of us don't want to hear this, but 2005 was 15 years ago.
It's not strange for parties to reconfigure and have family fights after an election. But with what could be a pretty slim majority, every little fight matters a bit more.
I need everyone to ignore the chaos and pretend like everything is put together. I think in a couple of weeks I will feel a lot better when I know where my plates are.
So to get into what's going on and more importantly what it portends for the next 2 years of the Biden administration, I called Heather Cagle. She covers House Democrats for us.
A moderate Democratic president, progressives winning more down ballot, and overall the House losing seats. It seems like it sends a kind of a complicated message for President-elect Biden and the House and the Senate on governing.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I think if we had seen kind of a Democratic sweep, and not just in the sense that they picked up seats in the Senate and took over control of the Senate, but also that they did not lose seats in the House, which like you said is what we saw, then I think it would have been more clear that Democrats have a mandate to govern, and that is definitely not clear at all.
So I have this theory that President-elect Joe Biden, the compromiser, the man who kind of cut his teeth working across the aisle, is going to use this kind of up in the air divided government environment and do exactly what he's promised, right? Like reach across the aisle, force the Democratic leaders in the House and Senate to moderate a bit, maybe compromise a bit.
But at the end of the day, this is a guy who is not comfortable with terms like abolish ICE, defund the police, ban fracking. Having these very slim majorities in the House and Senate where you really are going to have some kind of like more moderate proposal to get through both to get to your desk, that helps him because he can go to the progressives and say, you guys, you don't have the numbers in the House and Senate to get these much more far left bills to me. We're going to have to do something that can actually get done. And I think that's definitely a place where he's more comfortable.
So there's been some public beef happening on the Democratic side in the caucus. The moderates versus the progressives, I guess, as it were. There's some soul searching, and it seems like they're at their throats, at least publicly, a lot more than is normal. Tell what's happening there.
Going into the election, and even on election day, Speaker Pelosi and like her top lieutenants, they did not put a number on it, but they said, we are gonna pad our majority. We're adding seats. We are competitive in places where we have never been competitive. Arkansas, Montana, you name it. We're going in there and we're adding Democrats. And then at the end of the night, you know, they lost seats and there's a lot of hurt feelings there because of that. The progressives are saying, well, you guys didn't spend enough money on digital. You weren't out there door knocking like you should have been. And the moderates are like, no, you guys throw out these crazy phrases that turn our voters off and we get tagged with like socialism, defund the police, whatever, you name it. Republicans just ran the ads ad nauseum and we couldn't outrun them. If we go back to 2018, when they came into the House, a lot of stories were written about how these two sides had not figured out what its ideological core was and they were fighting over it, and we were going to see this play out for 2 years. And really, like, we did see some of that, but really what we saw was a lot of them staying together and staying on the same message and united against a common enemy, which was President Trump. So now Trump is out of the White House, and these issues that were papered over for a long time are bubbling up. And I think for moderates, a lot of moderates that I've talked to are really mad because they spent 2 years they feel like tiptoeing around progressives because they didn't want to be put on blast on Twitter by AOC or whoever, right? And so they just kind of like tried to work behind the scenes, and it still ended up costing them seats. And a lot of their friends are going home for reasons that they don't think they should. And so the gloves are off.